All right. Let's see if I can hear myself. Yeah, that's good. All right. Hey, Wavy Kid, why don't we see you like tomorrow night, man, if you're going to complain? Um, because you know Char Willie will get you out of here in a minute if you start that crap. What's going on, TM Goldie? Artisan, MC, what's going on? Excalibur, what's going on? Soul Shader, what's going on? Thank you, Soul Shader. Appreciate it. Daniel, what's going on? Thank you for your donation last week, Daniel. Appreciate it. 3% in the house. That's hilarious. But she's telling the truth. I did a I don't know, Kevin, did you ever see my mail scale when I actually did calculated all the percentages for the top six things that when black women actually wanted? And it came out to be like 111,000 men out of out of like almost 17 million. JJ, what's going on? uh, hell, let me see if I can look it up for you real quick. Um, it's on my Ibmore channel. Let me see. See if I can. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I did it as a joke. I did it as a joke. But there's the link for you, Kevin. I did it as a joke, but it's actually pretty accurate because I used a scale of can't remember the guy's name, but he actually figured out a scale how you evaluate males because males have more than a they have so many categories that you can rate them in. So we actually put it in like a an XY scale, and in the upper right is what they call the perfect man territory, which is the combination of the what we call the alpha male or the bad boy characteristics and the what he calls the nurturing of the beta male characteristics. You bring them, you put those two things together, and then you have what you call a perfect man. So I took the top three from the what they call the alpha male scale, which is looks and all that kind of stuff. Height was one of them. Height was one of them. Yeah, I didn't get. Yeah, I thought I would. I thought I'd get a lot of trolls when I asked for better trolls. I thought they would step their game up, man. I got. I didn't get no hardly any trolls, man. I had to give Queen Rashida. She had the best response. She said if the trolls become artificial intelligence, I'd really be sorry. That was hilarious. That was the best one I got. Yeah, check that one out, man. It was actually did it in jest, but I actually took real stats. Because black women, you got to have, you have to have 9 inches. You got to have be 6 foot, 6'2" with 9 inches, six figures, a six pack, with a cute face, with an education, and no kids. Now, how many guys with those stats? If you 6'2" and and you got a six pack and you got a cute face and you got six figures, somebody gonna drop a baby on you. Hell, they've been trying to chicks have been trying to drop babies on me since I was 17. I'm fortunate I made it to, I think my daughter was born. I was 28, 29 when my daughter was born. I was fortunate to make it that far. Hey, I'd love it if they actually were smart enough to steal jokes from George Carlin. I don't think they're that smart. Well, I wanted to have children, but I wanted to have children in the right way, which I still fucked it up. But I still fucked it up because I waited so long and I still fucked it up. That's what happens when you believe women. Okay, we take black women at their word sometimes. You know, you're dating and it's not serious, and then by the time you find out it's serious, it's too late. You had a brother that's 6'5". Yeah, I guess she figured if he's taller, he could accept more weight. It would be interesting, cats. Yeah, well, I just started, after I put up my better troll video, I just started evaluating their. I didn't even answer their posts. I just started evaluating their posts. I said, nah, go back, take that one back. Needs more work. So they give me a troll post and say, you got to do better. They would get one chick. She was getting mad. They actually got mad and left. There's one dude he was trying to troll me, and I called him a young fool. He said, "I'm 74 years old." I said, I said, "Oh man, don't tell me that." I said, "You're an old man. You're supposed to represent. Style is life. What's going on?" Yeah, I kind of ran the trolls off. Man, actually, the trolling actually went down after I put that video out. Believe it or not. Normally, especially the last video I put out, I expected a lot of trolls, but the trolls actually calmed down. Complex design was happening. Actually, the troll level actually went down. Believe it or not. Uh, there's something I want to talk to you guys about. Something I've kind of neglected because there's sometimes I remember my good friend of mine, good friend of the family. He's an excellent artist. But he wants to be an actor, but he's such an excellent artist. He draws shit, man, like out of comic books just for nothing, but he doesn't appreciate it because he's been doing it since he's like 6 years old, so it doesn't mean anything to him. So, and I've been doing, analyst work for so long that, when I see something, it doesn't mean anything because I've been waiting for a piece to drop in for a long time. So when it kind of drops in, I was like, okay. But I keep forgetting that you guys don't have the same. You guys don't have my brain. You guys don't have the same experience I have. So which is meant to me is even though it's really important. Um, I kind of blow it off and I shouldn't. Like the budget, the military budget, the $700 billion military budget they just passed, and what that's going to mean. Uh, there was a post put out the Army War College talking about. I'm trying to remember the name of it exactly. I can't remember the name of it exactly because I read parts of it, but I haven't read the whole thing, which I should. I should go into detail because it's really super important. What the Army War College was actually telling the Congress in Washington D.C. that if you don't fund us, if you don't give us what we need to hold what's left of American primacy, basically your dollar and your empire that you've had is going to go down the hill because you don't have the money, you don't have the manufacturing, you don't have the gold, you don't even have the American, what can I say, reputation anymore. It's kind of solid. So the only thing you have left is military force. If you don't give us enough money to we can actually bully people into still taking us seriously, you're going to take a deep slide. And I was wondering, uh, is because Congress, basically we're so far in debt that they have to make cuts, and they have to make cuts somewhere. And they were supposed to cut this military budget like well under, basically under $300 billion. You know, no, well, they only, well, okay, Mike Vincent, they only have one play, and this is what we said. My think tank said this back in 2011, man. Right after Putin faced down the United States, they only have one play left, which is military force. That's the only, in other words, the queen, they only have the queen. Okay. The queen is the biggest piece on the board, but that's the only thing they have left. So they're putting all the money into the queen to actually dominate the world. And that's the only play they have left because all the bishops and the rooks and all that stuff, they're all off the board. So it's just the king and the queen. And if the queen doesn't have enough force to actually go out and defend the king, game's over. Because if you think about a chessboard, the most valuable piece on the board is your king. The most powerful piece on the board is the queen. Your military is your queen, but your financial system is the king. And if the queen can't go out, it's not fun strong enough to actually go out and defend the king. Guess what's going to happen to the king? He's going to get taken. Man, I haven't done any Barry White stuff in a long time. That used to get me in trouble though, in my answering machine. You know what, Shelly, about my voice? I remember. Well, I can't remember my girl from high school. Jesus, she couldn't talk to me. She couldn't talk to me for very long. When I was a teenager, I couldn't understand, and she would be orgasming, having orgasms over the phone. I was like 17 years old. She was orgasming, and she'd be, I said, "What's wrong with you?" And she said, and she would say, "You always do this to me." I said, "Do what?" But I didn't understand. As a teenager, I didn't understand. I thought it had to be something physical. Hey, Lamont, what's going on? But you know what? Even believe it or not, I call her my mother. Even though we're never married, I call her my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, I had the same effect. She picked that first, like, 5 seconds of me picking up the phone, and she said, "You trying to sound popular?" And that's just my natural phone voice. I don't know what she was doing. I wasn't on the phone, but she said I always did that to her. Which I look back on, and even though she was like a four in the face, but she had a body on her, a little chocolate, tall chocolate thing. She had a body on her. But that is a woman I probably should have kept, even though she was, she needed some work. But there's always one woman that would absolutely do anything that you tell her to do, and she was that one. But I had a couple of them. I actually had I had a friend. She actually did phone sex. She said you should. She said the only thing is you'd have to deal with men. I couldn't do with that. Yeah, I did see it. Private parts. Well, ARC's more practice at it. ARC's well more practiced at it. But the thing is, if you're gonna, you could. If you go down that path, that's the whole thing. If you go down the road, man, there's no telling where it will lead to. It's gonna lead you to a lot of stuff. And now, me being a Gemini, man, that's difficult because the Gemini turns to the dark side. It's You almost become amoral, and I never wanted to be that. I never had a woman that squirted. I always wanted to have at least one woman that squirted to see what that's about. But I never had one. I had one woman that said she did, but it didn't turn out to be that way. Yeah, it is profitable. The thing is, she told me that to really make money, then I had to take male and female clients, and I wasn't into taking male and female clients. Yes, they do. But the thing is, you have to, women want more emotion than eroticism, so they do take more work. Well, Kevin. You're an expert. You're an expert. Now, I never had a squirter. Hey, it's a woman's channel. I forget who brought it up. I don't care what Mike. I don't care what they do over the phone, man. I can't care less what they do at home. But I've had more than a few women, man, like random phone calls, man, that show up in my door. Where do you live? And you tell them where you live. Yeah, they're not gonna show up, and an hour and a half later, they're knocking on your door. Yeah, but to get back to what I was talking about as far as is what's going on with that military budget. I mean, that means they're going to have to strip that from someplace else, and where they're going to strip that from is probably going to be, man. Section 8 is probably going to be in trouble, and the one they're going to have to do is to get rid of. They're going to probably have to strip down the Section 8 welfare, those kind of um, what they call it, social programs. They're probably gonna have to release a whole lot of prisoners because you can't afford it. And those guys that are on those guys that are out there on that morphine, on that fake that synthetic heroin, man, you can see a lot more deaths because basically they're all in on this military thing, and they're willing to sacrifice everything else for it because they're trying to hold on to their position. Evidently, they think holding on to the dollar is uh, is is probably worth more than in the short term than any other social program. So social programs are probably going to get killed over the next 3 4 years. Well, the thing is that Mike, they don't have any. And I'll open up. I'll open it up for you guys in a minute. They don't have it. They only have one play. This is the only play they have left. That's what the army was telling you. I knew it when they first came out. I said they only have one play left. Either you're gonna take care of your people, or you're gonna try to hold on to your position because they're only trying to hold territory. They can't get back on top because China, the BRICS and China are cleaning their clocks right now, and China's trying to replace the dollar as we speak. So the only thing they have is actually, yeah, that's gone. The only play they have is military. You actually physical force is actually physical force because the Chinese have everything else. The AIs, they got robots, they got manufacturing, they got gold. They control all the coin, the digital currencies. They control everything. So their only play they have is the military. The military, if you want us to do that job that you want us to do, you're gonna have to pay us. So guess what they did? They ended up. Even Elizabeth Warren, and I think there's a couple liberals actually signed on to it. I think there was only two or three. There are two senators. No, there was two senators that actually abstained, that didn't vote for it. It is she basically it is what it is. It's over. I said it was over back in 2005. It's just a matter of time. All they did was accelerate the process. And the thing is, what kind of suffering is it going to cause in the interim? But we're gonna find out October 1st. That's why I was kind of screaming at black women. You need to get off this shit. You need to find other programs. You need to get together and do something different, because when this stuff goes, it's not gonna go like it's not gonna now Obama was kind. He was kind of cutting it down slowly. He's trying to wean people off of it, but Trump is not gonna do that. Well, the thing is they have all our back doors, Mike. Edward Snowden gave them basically by the time they closed up all the back, they still didn't close up all the back doors. By the time you closed up all the back doors, they have all the information they need. You can't even wage decent warfare because you don't know which systems are compromised. They're gonna get if you look at Turkey, they try to pull a coup off in Turkey, and basically Putin warned Erdogan well before it happened, so he was already on a plane someplace, so they couldn't get him. And Turkey's getting ready to go to the dark side, just like everybody else, man. It's going to spread. It's over. It's something that Quigley said. He said that back in 1965. He said if you bring China in, it's over. They brought China in. He said it's over. It's just a matter of time. Well, it was Snowden because they physically built all those back doors into all those Cisco routers and have various programs. So the thing is, by the time they can't close all those holes. And by the time you got a million and a half Chinese hackers, and you have some of the best hackers in the world in Russia, you give them keys to the back doors, man, they're gonna steal everything, which is what they did. But there is the link. All right. But it's really, really important. The only thing they have left is force. But I said that back in 2011. It was done because the only thing the Chinese needed, the Chinese were actually trying to buy the technology and the research, and they could, in the United States and the West was actually giving it to them one drop at a time. That's what they're actually doing. But once Snowden left, man, with all the keys, because he left with a whole bunch, they're still feasting off of that stuff, man. The Russians just dropped that stuff through, was it WikiLeaks? Was it last year or maybe earlier this year? They're still dropping stuff. There's no telling what Snowden got. That's how come he can never leave Russia. If he ever leaves Russia, man, Snowden's a dead man because as much damage as he's done to the United States. But by the time it was WikiLeaks. By the time, they even started to cinch up all the holes, man, it's too late. Hey, Kat, what's going on?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got my George Carlin joke book. I'm a start account.
You'll learn something.
Uh-huh.
You'll learn something.
He was really good at chopping up them words.
Yeah, I miss George Sterling. I mean, I miss George Carlin.
Hmm.
They said his books are different from what he actually from his actual show. He said he wrote
from a stand up.
from a stand up. He said there's something that he wrote for specifically for the stage and stuff he specifically wrote for a book because reading is a different experience.
Yeah, I found some similar things. Like he has this one, I guess, sketch where he talks about how to balance the budget, and it was in the book, and it was on one of his stand up specials.
uh,
But it was basically like you get four groups of people. The first group is the sex offenders. The second group is the drug the drug addicts, but that you don't get them on their first offense. You give them like 15 chances, and then the other two are like violent people, and I forget the fourth group, but you basically put them up in a cage together and they fight to death, and then you put it on pay-per-view, and that'll be the money
his money
to balance the budget.
balance the budget.
Yeah, of course
Ba-
he was much funnier about it.
well, basically, they made that into a movie. It's called The Purge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He was a social critic masquerading as a comedian.
Oh yeah.
he, he thought the American public was so stupid. Sometimes he said they said
Hmm.
he actually had a lot of contempt for his audience because they were so stupid. But since he could put in
Dang.
a joke,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
We're
I wish my
brothers,
trolls had that kind of class.
Hmm.
brothers. We're happy
We can
in our
hear you.
I had
single
seen
colors.
something similar between him and Dave Chappelle, where Dave Chappelle was at the Laugh Factory and
Hmm.
he was telling jokes about men being raped,
Uh-huh.
and the way he looked at the audience, because his whole point was that nobody takes it seriously when a man says he's
Okay.
been
He gets
raped,
raped, huh? It's funny.
and everybody was laughing at it, and
Hmm.
he actually looked kind of pissed off
Yeah.
at it, because it was almost like it was like he was being very very serious about it,
Hmm.
and I don't think the audience got it, but you know.
He was proving a point. He was proving a point.
Yeah.
What happens to a man, especially a black man, it's not really. If you tell them they're raping white males, they don't laugh when they're saying you're raping black males, because nobody gives a shit about black males. Never have. In fact,
Yeah.
Reginald Lewis's daughter, she started a code camp for black men, for black boys. She said because black boys don't have an advocacy group, they don't have an advocate for them.
Right.
That's what she said. In fact, one of my subs actually posted a comment in my section about. He said a few years ago he dated a school administrator, and she said that they had given up on black boys because they did concentrate on black girls because they didn't think black boys were worth it.
Because
Dang.
Man, yes, I've heard that before. Yes, sir. But
how come we haven't had, uh, due to a lack of people caring about black men, how come we haven't had like black Ted Bundy or black, serial killer that's just out there like, what, fuck it, everybody gotta
what you doing in there, Mike? Man, you move putting stuff in your U-Haul or what's going on, man?
die. Frying that chicken.
Ah,
Hmm.
Now I'm just trying to find my headset. I couldn't find my headset.
oh, okay, all right. Go ahead and mute yourself then.
Oh.
Because for the most for the you have to remember, man, black men for the most part, as much as we talk about them, as much as the world talk, they're the most gentle, free spirited, free hearted, accepting being on the planet. You know, white men expected black men to come in mass, man, and slaughter them in their sleep because of stuff that has been done to them.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's because we have been domesticated by our women, but Uh, everything they say about black men, if you look at the stats, I mean, if the only way you can get black men to murder each other is when something personal, it has to be money or disrespect. If you took drugs and drug money out of an urban area, and they have basically black violence, black on black violence, pretty much dries up. So when they took the drugs out of Los Angeles, man, the murder rate went down by 2/3.
Wow.
It just went down by 2/3.
So what are we, man? We some type of sponge? I mean, are we some bunch of a bunch of bitches? Is that what?
No, no,
That's
no,
not. I'm
no.
not.
It's
Like,
not we.
oh, what?
Uh,
Go.
as a black man, you are watched 24/7. You are not safe anywhere in America. Period. I don't care if you're out in any black man says he feels he can go out in the middle of the woods and feel safe. He's lying because you fully expect some hunter in an orange vest to pop up and take a shot at you, man, from like a mile away.
I was talking to my brother about something like that earlier this week,
Hmm.
and I was telling him like the whole thing is, I think like the people that go protesting and all that type of stuff have too much time on their hands. Like I got enough struggle actually trying to get to work every day than like to go out there and actually argue with the police officer in front of their face.
Well, the people that actually go out and protest are the people that have had enough. If you go back at any protest or any kind of action like that, man, it's like been like 10, 15, 20 years of people, the black population just being fucked with. And they just had it. Okay. This one day, we're not like the Rodney King riots. Black people had just had it. They couldn't take it anymore. I mean, they had been killing black men in the jail cells and along the street corners and all that kind of shit, man, for like 15, 20 years. Going, I remember back at Long Beach, man, when they hung the Long Beach State football player in his jail cell, and that was back in 1978, man. And then people had just got tired. Really, what really set it off is it wasn't really a black man. It really wasn't really Rodney King. What it was is that there was this little black girl that had gotten shot by a storekeeper over a over
Oh,
a
that Korean lady.
Korean lady. Yeah,
Natasha Harlan.
Yeah.
yeah, Tasha Harlan. She had got shot over a bottle of orange juice that she paid
And
for,
shot her in the back of the head.
and shot her in the back of the head. And then a white judge let her off, and people just had, Then Rodney King came along with where the crowd came along. They just had enough, and people just exploded.
Because like I'm from St. Louis originally,
Mm-hmm.
and like we got that big old thing going on now
Mm-hmm.
about that cop that got set free,
Mm-hmm.
sent on camera that he's about to kill the nigga,
Mm-hmm.
chased him down, then planted
Mm-hmm.
a gun in the car,
Yeah.
and they just let him off. So
Let
like
him. Yeah.
they destroying everything around the city now.
Yeah. They've had it. Right after Michael Brown, which is not too far from I think it's a suburb of St.
That's
Louis, isn't it?
that's still St. Louis.
Yeah.
I used to drive by there every day.
Yeah. So I'm talking about they just black people have had it. Okay, they've had it. You know, because they were messing with those people long before Michael Brown got killed. That wasn't the reason of the protest. He was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
BGS, what do you think the next step ought to be after doing all that?
It's as far as what?
Like,
Uh,
what's the
if you
goal?
if you want to make change, New York did it, Atlanta did it. I think there's one other city that did it. If you really want to make change, and like I said, I don't like repeating this over the air.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. Okay, because it's very effective. It will work, and like I said, I've repeated it a few times. It's New York. When was the last time you heard of anything coming out of New York as far as police violence?
Besides stop and frisk.
Years ago.
Stop and frisk ended like 3 years ago.
Okay. You're talking
When,
about
when, I'm talking about recently. I mean, within the last year. When's the last time you heard? When was the last time you heard anything out
Not
of New
You
York?
much.
had Peter Liang.
How long was that?
That was a couple
20,
years ago.
That's a
yeah, it's
couple years.
2015.
Huh? I'm talking about in the last
About
year.
like the last year.
Yeah. You know what happened? You know what they did?
Wait. I think I know where you're going with this.
They rioted.
Mm-mm.
Did they wait? Did they legalize?
Nope. I
They
mean, they
pulled their
did.
money
They
out the
cut
bank.
welfare in Section 8.
No. What they do? What they do? What the black people did? You had a big bunch of black people go to the major banks, take money out, and transfer it to a black bank. Now, I don't.
Oh,
Anybody that knows about a fractional reserve system and
Yeah.
how bad, what the fractional reserve rate that the major banks have, it's not too hard to figure out why all of a sudden they got hurt, right?
Yep.
okay.
That's all I need to say. That's what happened. That's how come, and that happened. I would say that happened less than a year ago, like 9 months ago. Have you heard anything coming out of New York about police violence?
No.
Have you heard anything about coming out of Atlanta about police violence since Killer Mike talked about the banks?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a firm believer, that money is the true wielder, or what people who supposedly hold power value most. So if you affect that flow of income, or if you do anything to disrupt that, then
Oh,
attention.
oh, okay.
Hey, BGS.
Yes, sir.
Yes, how you doing?
It's pretty good at Dinga. What's going on?
All right. Oh yeah, you were talking about black men being the most gentle. Are you
Hmm.
referring to just black men in America or black men across the world?
When I say black, I mean in America.
Okay. So you don't think black men from across, say, Africa or the Caribbean, South America are just as gentle?
It depends. It depends on which society that you're talking about, and it depends it varies from country to country.
Yeah.
Mental.
I guess depends on the history, right? How
It depends on your culture. Culture to human beings is it's secondary to biology, but if it's for human beings, that basically determines the shape of your culture. If you bring up really aggressive men in your
right,
culture, that's the vast majority are going to be what really aggressive.
right.
So it's going to magnify what's already there.
Hey, BGS,
Yeah.
can I? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
probably
but I wanted to finish what I wanted about the banks because I didn't complete
okay.
thought. So before we change directions, I wanted Ulysses to actually think about why I said I said what I said about the banks.
Well, because you mentioned fractional reserve,
Mm-hmm.
and with regards to that,
Mm-hmm.
banks are only required to hold cash a certain
Mm-hmm.
percentage of what they actually lend out.
Right.
Now, if you withdraw
Mm-hmm.
from that physical amount that's actually there, then you basically put them in a bind with regards to what it is that they're supposed to hold in the vault,
Yeah.
with as it relates to what's being lent out.
To reserves, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
if you're already deep in the red, what is it that you don't want people to do?
You don't want people to withdraw.
Because that is the what I'm saying is if under normal circumstances, black people were moving their money and moving to some place else wouldn't mean a hill of beans, right? If they were healthy, right? Wouldn't mean nothing, right? They can take that hit. But if they're not healthy, can they take that hit?
No.
So in other words, that is the weak spot in the system, and you're exploiting it. That's all. If you get what I'm saying, That's called
That,
it's all called looking at the system holistically and being an analyst, which is what I'm trying to train you guys how to. I'm trying to train you guys how to think that way because for me it was obvious. If I'm going to hit them, that's where I'm going to hit them. I'm not going to worry about protesting. I'm not going to worry about throwing people out of office. I'm going to go to the most direct spot, so that people with influence can put pressure on other people with influence.
Well, if we know white people care so much about their money, how come we aren't taking advantage of that? How come
It's
that's
not
not
a.
being talked about?
It's not because that will get you locked up and put you in a deep hole in an orange jumpsuit. If they
So
actually
you're
took
trying
me,
to say,
if they actually took me
trying,
seriously, that's where I would be. But fortunately, I'm talking to black people who don't read. Okay, so
wait,
there's
wait,
me
who are you
reading,
talking to?
huh?
He
Put
says,
some respect. Put some respect on it a little bit.
Well, we're talking about critical. We're talking about critical.
because
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
let's be honest. We're talking about critical mass here. There's not a
Yeah,
critical mass of
yeah.
black people that can influence other black people. So when people ask the question, why aren't we doing that? I mean, who are you hearing talking about the stuff BGS talks about other than
Yeah,
BGS? Like,
yeah.
honestly,
that's what I'm saying. I know. I mean, BGS is a smart man, but I know if BGS knows this, somebody else has to know it.
If I
there's
was
no
Alex,
question.
how fast would Alex Jones be in Guantanamo Bay if he said the exact same thing that I'm saying?
So you're saying they basically letting us do goofy things like protesting just because they know it's not effective.
I mean,
Well,
okay, look. I mean, with the stuff I'm giving out, should I have 8,000 subscribers? How many subscribers should I have?
4.
Huh? No,
I said 4
I'm talking about if I was white, how many subscribers would I have?
you have a like,
millions. You have
yeah.
a TV show.
800,000.
Yeah.
You
So
have
what I'm saying is they don't take me. Black people don't take me seriously. So guess what? Why should white people take me seriously? That's why I'm not in the orange jumpsuit. Okay. Yeah.
Dang.
Black people don't take Dr. Claude Anderson serious when it
No,
comes down
Or
to it.
Dick
not
Gregory.
as,
I think
as
that's
much
his
as
name. Dick
they
Gregory.
like to quote him, but they don't take him seriously. No, they don't. What is
you
that?
got
What
E?
about
dead
Dick?
air
What
time
about
on here
the
for black
One
dude
at a
Dick
people.
time. One at a
Gregory
time.
who
One at
just
a time. One
died?
at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
What
I
about
Go
that
ahead,
think
dude
we
E.
take
Dick
them.
No,
who
E
died?
first, and then a dinger. Go ahead, E.
I was gonna say, what about that? I think his name is Dick
Mute
Gregory.
your stuff, complex. Okay, because he got his baby playing in the background. Go ahead, E.
What about that dude? I think his name Dick Gregory. Is that right? Dick.
Yeah, Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory is all. Dick Gregory. One thing he said he was one of the few black people in his cohort to actually die of old age. What does that mean? Everybody else,
They
Sec-
usually
everybody, all
kill
these other
people.
persons, yeah, they either went to prison, they got exiled, or they're dead. He's one of the few people that actually lived to tell the tale. Probably because he was a comedian, he was too popular.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think black people do take the Claude Andersons and all of the great black men who came before us. I think what it is, we just don't follow through. We just don't go about do what they are telling us to do. I mean, we do take them seriously, but we
That's not.
don't
No, really, that's not what he says. That's not what he says.
I don't agree with that.
Hmm?
uh,
I,
That's what he says. I've said if you ever listen to him, and I've listened to Claude Anderson for 20 some odd
How much
years.
money are
That's
you
not what
giving
he says.
Claudia?
Who, me personally? Doing me
No, I'm
personally?
talking about anybody to say they
Oh
take him seriously.
no. I
yeah.
mean, I
Anyone that
used to.
says that they take him seriously, that's a simple question. And then
Yeah,
there's
yeah, because I used to contribute like $500 a year to Claude Anderson's um, institute. So we
Hey,
got.
BGS,
Yes, sir.
do you want to go over that Edward Snowden stuff tonight, or do you want to wait till tomorrow?
No, you go ahead. I don't think there's any pressing topics. The women don't really have anything, so go ahead.
I thought the Rebecca Lynn Pope would have been a topic tonight, but
It might
Oh.
later on, but since we're up, man.
Oh, you know what, BGS? I saw you post that on your women's channel, and somebody put in the comments section, I'm starting to think this isn't a channel for women because between this and the Lucifer principles, it really seems like you just hate women. I was like, okay. Because
What's the name,
it
Chrissy?
didn't sound like she was. I, I don't know who it was. It was somebody with a weird avatar. But
Probably Chrissy.
I was like, I was like, so her critiquing women for having high standards means that she hates women, or means that hates women. Like, I just, I don't understand. Hello.
I think the government got BGS.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Brought up the wrong subjects.
I don't think BGS hates women. I think the person who's complaining about that more wants what she's used to seeing on other channels. She wants more male bashing rather than critical inward thinking directed at women. His channel
hmm,
towards women, his channel's meant for women to analyze themselves, not project
Yeah,
all the problems on the man.
yeah. I just think women just don't want to be
right.
criticized. They hate to be criticized. That's bottom line.
Like BGS said,
I
he cares
mean,
about their
it's hard to listen to criticism, but I mean, I understand that it has to be done. That's my whole thing on it.
The
The
thing
I don't
is,
question,
find
and like
either of his channels actually pull any punches for males or females.
Hmm.
So I don't feel like either of his channels pull any punches towards males or females. I think he tells the truth straight down the line, or what he thinks is the truth straight down the line. He
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
but my
I
question
guess.
is like, I guess at what point do you critique and when do you not? Because black men go through the critique even when they're not guilty.
I don't really know. I mean,
And stop making
I
them feel
think
comfortable.
if you see somebody doing something that's not productive, you should critique them. And that includes
I'm,
women.
I think critique is always good. It shows you how other people see you, regardless if that's how
Yeah,
you are or not. It's letting you know what other people see.
right.
Like you can only
'Cause it'll
you.
be like uh, say if a woman's dressed a certain way, and if she doesn't sleep around but she looks like a slut, then somebody tells her about her clothing, then she could understand why she gets approached a certain way, as opposed to just walking around looking stupid.
I'm gonna drop out on that BGS sedan.
Where did BG go?
They really got him. God damn it.
Dang.
Did he drop out?
Nah, the
I
cell,
think
like the way the
maybe
satellite
something
set it
happened
up,
to.
it knocked them off.
Oh,
Internet.
okay. Yeah, let me drop off so he can get back in. But agreeing,
I think there's enough available link here. I think right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It's
7, 8.
9.
There's about 9 people on.
yeah, let me drop
Shit,
out.
No, if there's
I'll
nine
drop out.
people on, okay. I was tending to my daughter. I don't even know what happened. I walked away.
The room actually holds 10,
Oh,
including the host.
okay.
You the women of the group lead us.
So maybe Edward should be the leader
Oh.
now, right? Instead of
Well,
you.
what did you guys think of that that article of the black men are the white men of the black community. Or did you see that article?
As much as I
Hello?
hate to say it, as much as I hate to say it, it actually confused me when I was listening to it. Like
Um,
I just, hello.
I hear you.
Uh, it. I just generally think they're trying to switch the sexes up, and so it's already just to me is already kind of screwed up. So
Hmm.
adding racist to it and stuff just makes it even worse to me. I just didn't get it. I wanted to get it. I just
I
didn't get it.
didn't
That blog
I didn't
post.
get it because I've never seen like a group of black men get together and construct laws to oppress black women or black children or black gays or black feminists or whatever other group feels that black men are the problem. Like, I just thought it was a really stupid way of putting it. And they always want to talk about black male privilege. Is supposed to be if a black man gets killed by a police officer, the media gives it more attention. But that's not black men's fault. That's what the media chooses to cover. You know.
Um,
So
it, you got to understand.